All right, g'day. How you doing? It's Ashley here with Ground Speed Gaming, and today I'm going to do a basic VFR flight from Indianapolis Metro to Richmond, and this is Richmond in Indiana. So Richmond is as far east in Indiana as you can get without crossing over into Ohio. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a brief look at what it looks like. This is the flight we're going to do today. Indianapolis Metro, that's where we are at the moment on the ground. And we're going to track, well actually I used a VFR chart to measure the track, and I actually got 107 and I got 56 nautical miles. So not too bad for using a VFR chart. This is obviously more precise. But yeah, we're going to be tracking from Indy Metro all the way to Richmond. So that's about, in this case, 57 nautical miles. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off from runway 15 in this direction. Circle around following the pattern while we continue to climb. And over the top of the field, hopefully we'll be closer to our altitude that we're going to cruise at. We're going to cruise at 5,500 feet because we're going eastbound. So it's going to be odds plus 500 feet. So I'm planning for 5,500 feet. So that should give us plenty of forward visibility. And I'm going to climb in the pattern. And we'll probably be up to 3,500, maybe 4,000 feet by the time we start tracking outbound. And I'll explain en route why we do that. And along the way, we're going to use this airport here, Newcastle, as a visual reference point, or a visual checkpoint as I call it, along the way, just so we can confirm our ground speed and our position with regards to the track that we want to follow. And then we'll come in for a VFR landing at Richmond. And it's a pretty straightforward flight, so we're going to have this one airport on our left and another one further down on our right, and hopefully we'll be somewhere in between. There's some prominent visual features along the way. There's the railway line and an interstate or state highway or something that goes off on a 45-degree tangent compared to where we're going. And there's two major interstates here that we'll be sort of crossing over about halfway there. And let's see what else is there with regards to our destination, with regards to NOTAMS. The runway end identify lights are not working, but that's okay. That's not going to affect our VFR flight. Obstacle tower light, not working. Obstacle tower light, not working. So that's all for Richmond. So there's not really anything of concern there. The airport is obviously still open. Let's see, Indy Metro has quite a few more. Clearance delivery frequency on the ground is not available. It's not going to be available for a little while. However, we're VFR, so we don't actually need that. And the rest are obstacle cranes because they're doing a bit of construction, not at the airport, but just in close proximity to the airport. And that's all there is for those NOTAMs. For the other two airports that we're passing en route, these two, if for whatever reason we need to divert there, just take this into account. There's a departure procedure for UWL, but if we do go there, we'll be landing there. So that's not an issue. And once again, obstacle tower light, unserviceable at the other airport, which is not going to affect our flight. So it's all good. Richmond at the moment is currently showing 0 wind, 10 miles visibility, 8 degrees Celsius, and 3 degrees is the dew point, and a high pressure system. So we should be good. So as far as the surface analysis chart goes, we're departing from, it's approximately here, and we're going to about here. So not a lot going on in between. As you can see, it's a high pressure system, and the isobars are quite far apart, so we're not really expecting any wind. So it's good news. So I'll get that out of the way. That's the briefing for this flight done. So I guess we'll get started. So I'm actually using a checklist from the Cessna 150, even though this is a Cessna 152. Sorry, the weather. Yep, that's fine. Weight and balance. Actually, let's just double check that. We can go full fuel, but we don't need that. There's no passengers here. Don't need that. And let's actually just pull that back a bit. That's fine. That's fine. Because it's a short run. Performance is going to be fine. Flight plan, we're not going to file a flight plan because it's such a short flight. This only barely qualifies as a cross-country because it needs to be more than 50 miles. This is 56 or 57 miles, so fuel selector, we're going to turn that on. That'd be a good idea. Control lock, control lock on. Okay, so check the circuit breakers are all in. Behind there, yep, they're all in. Seat back track locked. Avionics are off. They're all individually off. There's no actual avionics master switch on this one. Carburetor heat is off. Mixture is going to be full rich. Throttle we slightly for about 1/4 of an inch. Prime it. It's probably 4 brakes actually. Turn the volume up a bit. Go, brakes are on. Just make sure, yep, look outside, props clear. Put the old master on. Beacon lights. Next to start. Okay. Now we got 1,000 RPM and the oil pressure is up. That's excellent. Oil pressure needs to be up within, it doesn't say on my checklist here, but I think it needs to be up within 30 seconds. If not, you have to shut it down. Because the oil in the engine is kind of like the equivalent of blood in the human. You can't really last very long without it. Yep, oil pressure's up. Lights, we can turn taxi lights on, nav lights on. And it's frozen. Yeah, there we go. Loading something. And mixture we're going to leave fully rich. Flaps are up. Heat, vent, defrost, we don't need to worry about that. Avionics, we can turn them all on. They're on standby, turn that on, that on. I'll put the ADF on. Well, I'm not planning on making any reference to it. Nor are we planning on using any VORs. It'll be strictly just a couple of VHF frequencies for our weather en route, and that's about it. The AWOS, we need to get the AWOS. Oh, sorry, the AWOS, because this is uncontrolled field. 119.375. There we go. I'm going to turn it up.
Wind calm. Visibility niner. Sky condition ceiling 17,500 feet broken. Temperature 15 Celsius. Dew point 13 Celsius. Altimeter 29992.
Wind's calm.
Automated weather observation 1300 Zulu.
Excellent. Okay, with one of the procedures at this particular airport at Indianapolis Metro is if the wind is calm, the default runway is runway 15. And that's actually facing the opposite direction we're facing right now, so that's down there. So we're going to taxi off in this general direction. Alright, so we've got the AWOS, or sorry, the AWOS. Altimeter needs to be on 29902, which it is, 29902. Our elevation is 811 feet. We're at showing about 805. So that's within 75 feet, which is, it's actually just an IFR requirement. It's not a VFR requirement, but I like to do it even as a VFR pilot. I think it's a good habit to do anyway. And we are within 75 feet of that. Transponder is currently on standby. We are going to be squawking 1200 because this is a VFR flight. ADS-B, this thing, no, it doesn't have that. Radio test, well, we actually just monitored, so that was good. Taxi light is on. Okay, brake test, altitude indicator test, turn coordinate test, and heading indicator check. So we'll do that now. All right, so brakes are released, and we'll just power forward a little bit. Check my brakes. They're working. And if you're flying with an instructor, you hand it over to the instructor, he'd check his brakes, and then he'd hand it back to you. He's also meant to be looking around to make sure this clear on the left and the right. So, clear, so we're good. So let's keep going. Even though this is a VFR flight, I still like to do these taxi checks anyway. I think they're just a good habit. And I won't show on this turn, but I'll show on the next two turns coming up. And you don't want to taxi too fast either. Sorry. Increase the volume a little bit there. I'll be able to hear the engines a little bit. Listening to the engine is actually part of your engine management. You can hear if something's wrong sometimes. Alright, just slow down a little bit. So obviously we'll check on the left. Clear on the left. Clear in front. And we are clear on the right, so we can do our right turn here. That's what we're looking for. If it doesn't freeze, it's frozen. Okay, so we're doing a right turn. You have a left skid. HSI or the DG is turning in the correct direction. Compass is freely turning. You'd look again. Left turn, right skid. DG is turning in the correct direction, and compass is turning freely, and it should point to 3-3 when I'm along with this taxiway line. There we go. Compass is looking good. Excellent. So that's the taxi check, and also this artificial horizon. Make sure it stays level, because the actual aircraft is level as well. It's just easier. And in real life, this taxiway is sloped slightly downhill, so you actually pick up speed as you taxi down here. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're actually just taxiing around. You don't want to go too fast. And the ground is never always perfectly level, no matter where you go. That includes parking gates at major international airports as well for airliners. Alright, so we're just parking the run-up bay in the far corner over here. Because normally you'd want to park in a way so that if anyone else is coming behind you, you're not going to take up half the space by parking right in the middle or something like that. That's just not a nice thing to do. Because we all need a bit of room for our run-ups. And when you turn, if you're pointing in the direction you want to go, make sure your nose wheel is straight before you stop. Just easier to start again once the nose wheel is straight rather than still turned in one direction. At least that's what I reckon anyway. So I get 2,000 RPM up here. Up here. Yep. Alright, for the run up, got the brakes set, fuel selector. Just keep freezing. Fuel is on. Trim, it's almost set for takeoff. Yeah, that's good. Set for takeoff. Flight controls, should have a look at them. And another way to see it is to obviously turn left. And this is freezing a lot now. Right. And when you're doing your pre-flight, you want to make sure like these, like your tail and your elevators, they don't touch or anything like that. Okay, it looks good. Flight controls, instruments. Okay, airspeed indicator is reading 0. Artificial horizon is level. So the clock, we'll just pretend that's correct. That's not the actual time, but we'll pretend that is correct. The altimeter is set to 2992, which is the altimeter setting for this airport at the moment, and it's elevation 8, 11 feet, so we're within 75 feet. We're not going to make reference to the VORs today. VSI, even though it's not a required instrument, is reading 0. The compass, facing 5.5 right now. There we go, that's pretty good. And vacuums are good. Okay, very good. Instruments are good. Mixture is fully rich. Primer is, well, we'll assume that it's locked. Can't physically touch it. Right, let's bring this up to 1700 RPM. Brakes are on. Normally you keep your feet on the brakes as well. If you have to set the brakes, keep your feet on the brakes anyway, because you cannot rely on the brakes of these aircraft alone. 1700 RPM. Mags, we'll test these. Go left mag. Acceptable drop. Back to both. Finish 1700. Right mag. Acceptable drop. Back to both. Carburetor heat. So we're going to put heat through the carburetor and the RPM should drop. Yep, it's a slight drop. That's a good sign. Carburetor heat off. RPM increases. Excellent. If there was ice in there, you get a bit of rough running and the RPM would increase because of the ice removal. But see, there is no ice because the RPM dropped. Vacuum gauge is in the green, and if you're not familiar with the vacuum gauge, that is to power the artificial horizon and the directional gyro. That's what the vacuum does. It powers those two instruments here. This turn coordinator is also a gyro, however, it's electric, as it states right there. For obvious reasons, it's a redundant system. So with the vacuum fails, you're still going to have that, provided you still have an electrical system. Okay, the ammeter is just over here, showing slight positive. It's probably on 0 because of where I'm sitting. Oil pressure is good. Oil temperature is also good. Idle. Just check idle by pulling it all the way back just to make sure that the engine doesn't stop. That's the last thing you want when you're descending, is for your engine to stop. Back to 1000. Throttle friction, well, we're in the simulator, so that's okay, but that's what that is there. That I'll be just tighten it by turning it one way or another. Vibration of the engine. If it's not tight, the throttle will slightly move. And obviously change the RPM. Pre-takeoff flaps. We're not going to use any flaps. The only time you use flaps in the 152 or the 150 is if you have an obstacle, or if you want a short field. Actually, no, it's only short field, I think, not even an obstacle. I think. Mixture is rich. Carburetor heat is off. Pitot heat, we're not going to use. No visible moisture with VFR. Transponder, we can put on altitude now. So we're putting altitude. Heading bug is initial runway heading, 15. Doors and windows. My door is closed. You'd normally just push on it just to make sure it doesn't open. And you need to push on the door, make sure that doesn't open either. Landing lights, we can put that on. I'll leave the taxi light on too, with the strobes on as well. The time, actually, we're going to take note of the time once we're overhead the field. Okay, we're good to go. So we're going to take off, go full throttle, rotate it at, on a 150, you rotate at 50, so we can hold it to 55. That should be fine. And the best rate is 66 in a 150, so we'll try and aim for 66 knots. Alright, just make sure no one's coming. It's all clear there, it's clear in front. We've been monitoring CTAF, this frequency, and haven't heard any voice, so that's good. And one thing we do in the high wings, it's a bit extreme. You can see a lot better on final approach there. Lean forward, see if there's anyone coming. It's just something you've got to do in real life, but obviously you don't really need to do that in a sim, but trying to make this as realistic as possible. Alright. So obviously we'd make a radio call. Indy Metro traffic, Cessna 152 Alpha Sierra Hotel is entering on 115 for a departure. Actually we'll be following the traffic pattern, climbing overhead the field initially. Indy Metro traffic. Oh, it's a lot easier to taxi in real life. These things are too sensitive. Hopefully Flight Simulator 2024 will be a bit better there. Alright, RPM's up. Stay straight, please. Airspeed is alive, runway is clear. So we're going to hold off until rotate at 55, 55. There we go, there we go. Just pull back gently and the thing will get airborne on its own. Alright, so we're aiming for 66 knots indicated. Obviously, the higher the speed, the further we can pull up, increase our bank pitch. Doesn't have to be exact, but that's pretty good. Okay. And I've used the altimeter, the autopilot as a reminder, and we'll climb into 5,500 feet. That's about 500 feet there. Start our turn to the left. Come on. And when we do our turns, we don't really want to exceed rate 1, which is this marker here, which is 1 minute for a 180 degree turn, or 2 minutes for a 360 degree turn, which is something you got to keep in mind for IFR flying, but just a good habit to stick with it for VFR as well, because you don't really need to do steep turnings. I'm just going to keep the turn coming around. Just watching the heading indicator. I'm going to stop when that reaches the bottom, so I'll be kind of parallel to the downwind. I can tell by the obstacles on the ground I'm relatively close to the downwind leg. It's 2,000 feet. We're going to climb to 5,500 feet. Keeping a good look outside, looking for traffic. Start out. Off. You can see the runway off to our left as we continue our climb. Now, even in reality, with full tanks of fuel and just me on board on a 150, I can assure you that I'm not going to get this good rate of climb. As much as I love flying the 150 and the 152, they're so underpowered because of their limitations of their potential weight that they can hold. You actually have to have a good grasp and understanding of weight and balance. So it's actually a good trainer for that in that. And they're very simple aircraft, as you can see. There's not a lot to them. That's why I love flying them, I think, is they're so simple. I'll start my turn back to the airport momentarily. Alright, we can start our turn back now. Rudder pedal there we go. With regards to the rudders, in the actual flight it is easier because you can feel that you need to apply it. But in here, because there's no feel in the sim, you gotta actually look at it. I mean, you gotta glance at it every now and then, but just keep this turn coming around. Wait, one. I maintain 66 knots. Approaching 3,500 feet. Our initial heading, well, the track is actually 107, but I'm just going to take up a heading of 107. Just get established first. Just that. We'll put this on. Heading, vertical speed. Okay, there we go. That's the vertical speed set out. Yeah, it's pretty unrealistic, but that's okay. You know, it's fine. All right, so we're essentially overhead the field. We're going to take up a heading of 107. And the thing is, the autopilot, it goes greater than rate 1. So that's one of the problems with the pilot. It's not just this particular aircraft, it's actually, I think it's all of them. I think it's just the flight sim thing. Let's see, it's 100. 5 is there, so it's probably about there. Okay. Now let's just make sure the compass is aligned. Yeah, that's about 106. That's cool. That's about how I see things. Okay, we have 1,000 feet to go. And the also thing we've got to do is, I should have taken note of the time about a minute ago. Let's see, that's 15, 24. It's 26, so we'll just call it 24. Yeah. No, call it 25. 25. Alright, we've got 500 feet to go. I'll do the calculation for my estimate shortly. Climb, we've got the power set. Mixture, we're going to leave Rich for the time being. I'll let Lyndon out once we get it level out. Instruments, could probably reduce that a bit. So we are slowing down a bit. That's the problem with these autopilots, where you set rate of climb. It'll do whatever it takes to try and maintain that speed, even if it means raising the nose and washing the speed off. It'll eventually stall if you're not careful, if you're not watching it. So if you're flying at G1000, that's why I recommend you use a flight level change, because you set a specific speed and not a rate of climb, and you just set it at the best rate of climb, and it'll adjust the pitch to maintain that speed based on your power setting. But obviously this is not a complicated aircraft, so this is very basic. Actually, most 150s and 152s don't even have autopilots. You just got to trim it out nicely. So climb. Taxi lights and the landing lights we can turn off. There we go. Just leveling off. Horizontal accelerating, because we've got the same engine setting. And we're going to set 2300 RPM. Here. I forget what percentage brake horsepower that is, but it's supposed to get about approximately 95 knots true airspeed and a fuel burn of 5.1 gallons per hour. That's at 4,000 feet. It's all good. I'll lean the mixture a little bit, see if the RPM changes. Oh, it's too much. There we go. Because we don't actually have a EGT. You have the option of an EGT or a clock. Since we're doing a navigation flight, I needed a clock, so I use that for my leaning instead. And it's not a lot. And the fuel burn is so low on these things, it's more just about sort of trying to prevent build up on the spark plugs. Let's have a look. There's a lake. Very good. If you remember, we're expecting to cross over a railway line and a major road, kind of off at a tangent at 45 degrees. That looks pretty good. I think that's it. So far, so good. Alright, let's just do a quick estimate here of my... I wrote in the logbook the wrong spot. Hang on 1 second. I realize you can't see it. So, at this stage, at the moment our estimate will be arrival at 01 on this clock here. Alright. So as you can see at 5,500 feet we can see quite a fair distance. It's very good, which helps a lot. There is an enroute checklist that I was taught in Australia. It's called, well, the acronym is C.L.E.A.R.O.F. C.L.E.A.R.O.F. The first one is compass, which we've already done. So you're going to make sure the directional gyro is aligned with the compass. And in a lot of these old aircraft, these things need aligning all the time. Like I've been in some, you have to align it every 5 minutes or as much as every 15 minutes. Either way, they make no reference to the actual magnetic field. You have to program it, make sure it's aligned. So we got 90, 100, 105, 106. This one's actually better than some of the ones in real life. That's probably about that. Alright, compass, or the DG is aligned with the compass, so that's good. The log, okay, that's what I was doing before. We were overhead the field at 2.5, I'm sorry, yeah, 2.5. And the initial estimate was 36 minutes to get there, so the initial estimate is 0.1. However, when we get to our visual checkpoint, which is that first airport, we'll be passing on our left, which should be on our left, provided we're going to be on track. That's this one here. So we're currently somewhere around here. We just passed over that road. When we get to approximately a beam, this airport, going by here, so we should be approximately 3 miles south of this airport and about almost halfway between these two roads, major roads, which you can see from the air. That's where we should be. Doesn't mean that's going to happen, but we need to get a time check when we're at being this airport, whether we're overhead or further south or on track, so that'll give us an idea of how fast we're actually going, because we know how far the distance is between our initial point, departure, and this airport. Now, I can see that looks like a major road there. Should be a second one a bit further down. Oh, well, let's see. Oh, that might be it there. Wait. Yep, I think that's it there. That's the other one. It's the first one. Good. So far it's looking good. So the compass is done, the log is done, engine, we've got that set at 2300 RPM, we've leaned the mixture, and temperature's looking good, and the oil pressure's also looking good. So engine's good. Altimeter, currently set to 29902. We need to be set to an altimeter setting within 100 miles of our position at all times. So that reminds me, we're going to have to get the AWOS for our destination, which is 121.225 at Richmond. In real life, we probably wouldn't be able to pick it up yet, but it'll probably work here.
Kilo Romeo India Delta automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility niner. Sky condition ceiling 17,100 feet broken. Temperature 15 Celsius. Dew point 13 Celsius. Altimeter 29992.
Excellent. So, and let's see, their CTAF is 122.7, so...
Kilo Romeo India Delta
Sorry about that.
automated weather observation 1300 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility niner. Sky condition ceiling 17,100 feet broken.
There we go, 122.7.
Temperature.
Alright. Well, in reality, you could probably, I'd probably monitor this one as well. But the thing about these charts, the US charts, they have a lot of information on here for you. Like for instance, with Indianapolis Metro, obviously we've got the name of the airport, the actual city code, UMP, the AWOS, it's the frequency, the elevation, 811, flighted, 4,000 feet, that's, you just add the 2 zeros, so that's the length of the runway, and 123.0 is the CTAF. Our destination, Richmond, RID, AWOS 121.225, elevation 1,140, so pattern height or circuits will be about 2,100 approximately. 5,500 feet is going to be the longest runway. I don't know which runway that is because there are 2 runways there. The 5,500 feet is 0624, and the other one is 4,999 feet, 1533. I had to pull up an IFR chart to grab that info, but and 22.7. So yeah, there's a lot of useful information. So en route, I'd probably get the AWOS, even though you're not intending to land there, and 23.05 in real life, you'd monitor that. About here, you'd monitor this one, and then about here, you'd sort of start monitoring this one. All right. One of the keys for visual navigation is you have to maintain constant heading, constant engine setting. Helps a lot. Let's have a look from outside. Just an option would be nice in real life, but that's the first road. And I'd say that's the second road there, yeah. Excellent. It's looking good. Good. Let's see if I can find... And with regards to this first checkpoint airport, as you can see, we're obviously flying in this direction. We've crossed over one of the interstates. And the big town, Newcastle, is, well, the airport is a bit beyond it and off to the right. So we can see a big town. I don't think that's it. I'd say it's probably more like that one. I would guess that's it there, the town of Newcastle, so it's probably a bit beyond it and to the right, so I'd look around there, and it's an east-west runway. Let's go back inside. It's the second interstate. As you can see, VFR flying is not as precise as instrument flying. It's a rather noticeable kink in the road, isn't it? Okay, yep, okay. So this kink in the road that's coming up here, I'm thinking it's this one here. So the airport should be further up to the left of the interstate. There's a town there, so it's probably beyond it and to the right. So it's probably around here somewhere, that airport. See how we go. Ah, over there. There it is. Okay, good, good, good. So we're planning on being about 3 miles south of it, so I would guess by the map, south of that airport, we wanted to be almost halfway between these two interstates. So, yeah, that's good, that's good. So far we're pretty close to on track. And also keep in mind the winds at both airports are calm, so it's most likely calm here en route as well. And just briefly before we get there, obviously that's the leg we want to fly. If you're off track, like if we were to fly overhead, just through maintaining constant heading, or south of it, or anywhere off track, what you do is you turn it into a triangle, a right angle triangle, two right angle triangles, and you have to calculate the angle that you're off. First angle, once you calculate that, if you maintain that, if you make the heading correction, you'll parallel the track. Work out this angle, and you make that correction on top of this correction, it'll bring you back on track by the time you get to your destination. So you're just doing, it's called the 1 in 60 rule, so you have to calculate heading corrections based on how far off you're off track. But it looks like we're pretty much on track, so this is going to be an easy one. This poor sim keeps freezing. It hasn't normally frozen this many times before, so I don't know if anything's changed. Or yeah, the airport's behind the pillar there. Yeah, it's over there. Okay. So I use the keyboard here. I haven't even finished the clear-off check. So the engine's set, altimeters are set, the radios, we've got the comms, the CTAF, and the AWOS. Orientation is part of the clear-off check. Sorry, it's taking me so long to get through it. Well, we know we're supposed to be heading in an easterly direction. It is confirmed, and also with regards to the position of the sun at this time of day, it's brighter in this direction. And if we were to look in the other directions, yeah, I'm happy with the fact that we're orientated in the correct direction. Like if you're on the coastline, if you have the ocean on the wrong side of the aircraft, then you're like, something's not right. But that's what orientation is with regards. And the fuel, normally you'd decide if you're going to change fuel tanks or whatnot, but obviously that's not an option. This one obviously we've only got on or off, so that's the clear off check. Sorry, it's taking me so long to get through that. Let's see what else is there. The airport's coming up, so once it's 90 degrees off to our left, we'll take note of the time. We should be approximately halfway between these two interstates. We might be just slightly to the south of what we plan on being. There's one road, here's the other, and there's the airport. Yeah, I think we're going to be... maybe it's slightly closer to this one. We'll see. I think we're going to be fine. I think this heading's going to be fine. It's looking good so far. Oops. Feet off the pedals. But yes, constant heading and constant engine settings are important for VFR navigation. And it's probably about time to check the compass again. So we got 90, 100, 105. 105 is probably about... What's wrong way? That's probably better. Let's see. Yeah, 152. That's the airport. We're almost at 90 degrees. Yeah, these aircraft are just so awesome to fly, but they really are underpowered. They're a great aircraft to learn on. They are very, very easy to fly. Okay, so I've mentioned on the map this airport, Newcastle, from our departure point to this point here, when we're abeam it, is 32 nautical miles. And let's see, what time are we overhead? 25. It's about 45. Is that 5 or 46? That's 46. So make that 21 minutes. 32 nautical miles. Alright, so just using an E6B whiz wheel. Okay, we can take another time. Ow. Make it 2.7, it's closer to the top. Alright, call it 2.7. So 12 minutes. So, it's 4.7, so that's 22 minutes. And I'm going to maintain the same heading. So 32 miles. So if we've gone 32 miles in 22 minutes, our ground speed's about 87 knots, and we have 24 miles to go at that same speed. 24 miles is 17 minutes. So my revised estimate is going to be, let's see, what is it? Let's see, 04 on this clock. It was originally 01. So yeah. So looking outside. Just crossed over the interstate just a little while ago. Yeah, we're pretty much on track, so crossing over just past the airport. So yeah, I think we're fine. Should be there at 04. Excellent. Pattern altitude is 1,000. I'm sorry, it's going to be 2,100, so yeah. So we'll just call it 2,000, so that's 3,500, 7 minutes prior, make it 8 minutes prior. So at 5.6, we'll start our descent. Started descent at 5-6 minutes past the hour. But obviously we're going to be keeping an eye out. And with regards to our destination, obviously we have this large town of Richmond, and that's going to be off to our left. So if you go a bit beyond it and to the right, where the airport is. So from in reference to the town, about a 45-degree direction away from the town. That's what we're looking for. So let's find the town. And that road we just crossed over goes straight to it. So this interstate here goes straight to it. It goes to it, so that's probably it. That'll be it there. it's on a 45-degree tangent from it, further away. So it's going to be, the airport's going to be somewhere around here. Found it. Around here somewhere. Can't see it yet. Maybe around here. That's the thing, enough lights so you can normally pick them out a long way out. It's actually pretty big, so it's probably more like around here somewhere. But keep an eye out for it. That looks like Richmond over there. That road's going directly to it. So I think we're going to get pretty close to it. Pretty cool. Going through the clear-off checklists. Normally you do it for each sector, and this is obviously just a one-sector flight, so 56 miles is not a very long trip. So I think going through the clear-off checks just this one time is adequate. And just obviously keep an eye on that compass as well. So we're on 106. Yep, so that's still good there. Obviously the log, we've updated that. Estimate 04 arrival time on this clock here. And we're going to start our descent at 5-6 minutes past the hour. At 5-6. And that's at a rate of 500 feet a minute. And so it's going to be... I won't change that much altitude. And obviously you're listening to the engine. Just modifying the sound intakes for the export here. The engine sounds themselves I actually do have turned off or turned down low in the simulator itself, but I should probably crank them up a bit and just control it through the mixing board. That's okay. Yeah, I'm still experimenting through all these this filmmaking here. That shouldn't be going off because we're not flying over any ILSs or anything like that, as far as I'm aware of. Oh, that airport down there might have one. Oh yeah, that airport there, that's an ILS. So we just flew over the marker beacon, that's why it was going off. I didn't realise it had an ILS going in that direction. So that's good. That's another confirmation that we're on track, because that airport is there, and that's 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, and marker beacons are usually at about 5 mile finals. And we're right on track. This is good. With regards to determining distances, each one of these marks on the vertical, their longitudinal lines, is 1 nautical mile. Do not do it in horizontals, because that's not right. You can only do it on verticals, at least on these US visual charts anyway. So 1 nautical mile for each marker. And if you put your thumb on these charts, your thumb, or at least my thumb, is 10 nautical miles on one of these charts, which in flight is useful to have, to use as a reference. Anyway, right. There you go, the marker beacon is going off. We're at the 5 mile mark, fly over the marker beacon. That was pretty cool. And 5-6 is a minute away. It was 2,100 was a pattern altitude. Yep. 5-6, we're going to start our descent, but I haven't spotted the airport yet. Oh, there it is right there. So we're almost going to it. Alright, so the airport's runways. Let's have a look here. Just quickly, 06243315. The winds are calm, we can land on any runway. And for this aircraft, we can use either runway because the runways are long enough for either. So let's start our descent now. How do you do this? There you go. Let's power down a bit. And carburetor heat. Always apply carburetor heat anytime the RPM gauge or the RPM is outside the green arc. So. And I should have actually done my pre-descent checklist. Descent mixture, we're going to Richmond that shortly. Actually, we can just do that now. Mixture's rich. Fuel selector's on, carburetor heat we've applied. AWOS we already have. The altimeter is set. It's the same altimeter setting of 29092. Instruments still looking pretty good. I'll increase the throttle a little bit. And we're descending 2,100 feet. It's looking good. Do a pre-landing checklist now. Just going to switch these lights on. Seatbelts, harnesses, all secure. Mixture is rich. Carburetor heat is currently on. The flaps, we'll use that as necessary. Alright, there's the airport. We're going to land runway 06, which is in that general direction there. So we'll just land on this runway here, that way. Is the shorter runway, but for this aircraft, plenty. 4,995 feet is plenty for this aircraft. I love it. And we're about... Town is... about 3 miles away, so yeah, so okay. So it's Richmond traffic, Cessna 152 Alpha, Sierra Hotel's about 3 miles to the west, inbound for a landing runway 06. Richmond traffic. Oh my goodness, it's bad. So where we're currently heading, it'll take us to about a long final position. Or, yeah, relatively long final. Obviously keep an eye out as well. This is pretty good. This is good. Obviously the oil temperature is still good. The engine sounds good. That's a key part of engine management that I've never really heard anyone mention, but is listening to the actual engine. And that's actually the reason I don't use noise cancelling headsets, is for that reason. As much as I love noise cancelling headsets, that's actually why I don't use them, because I can hear the engine a lot better. Because the noise cancelling is actually very effective. It's lovely. It's nice and quiet when you're flying, but you want to be able to hear that engine relatively well. So that's why I use my David Clarks. Alright. Okay, speed is in the wide arc. We can put station flaps out here. Might just increase that just a little bit. I'll be shutting the autopilot off shortly. It's kind of a wide bay. And you can also see the pappies, and we're obviously high at the moment. I don't think you can see them this wide out from the centre line. I'm not sure. And let's just take the autopilot off. Start flyers, maybe a bit easier, I think. flaps out, but it wants to climb. Like, no, don't climb, don't climb. Sorry folks, that rate of descent is probably making you sick as a dog. Apologies for that. We need to get down. Okay, Richmond traffic, Cessna 152 Alpha Sierra Hotels on about 2 mile final for runway 06, full stop, Richmond traffic. It's good to go for the elevation, approximately, and that's why it's showing 4 whites. I'm going to have to start increasing power shortly. As soon as you start to see 1 red, start increasing power. And let's start increasing power anyway. Get it slow. No. Okay. There we go, there's the 1 red. It's good. I find these a lot harder to fly, to land in real life, in the sim than in real life. In real life, they're a charm to fly. Easy to land. Although they have a very low crosswind limit, so let's aim for the numbers. And then just pull the throttle back, ease back. And then you should touch down around about the touchdown markers if you... Ooh, okay. That's alright. Track the flaps. Apparently it increases braking efficiency by removing the lift, putting more weight on the wheels. Still going pretty fast. Alright. I've never actually been to this airport in real life, so I have no idea which way to go. I'd imagine it's to the left where that tower is. It doesn't look like there's any buildings here. Alright, let's just quickly stop here for a moment. Stop. Okay. Just momentarily. So I should have turned the carburetor heat off just before we landed, in case we had to go around for whatever reason. Strobes can come off. Trim, can you go back to takeoff? Alright, after landing checks, flaps are up, carburetor heat is off, strobes are off, landing lights off, taxi light, actually we'll turn that back on, sorry. My mistake. Data heat, it was never on, mixture is fully rich, trim, set for takeoff, transponder is on standby. Let's keep going. Oh, Richmond traffic, Cessna 152 Alpha Sierra Hotel is clear of runway 06. Richmond traffic. Sorry, got to do that. Look at that. It's easier in real life when you can just actually move around. Oop. Okay, let's go. I somehow set the brakes. Oh, I have my foot on the brake. Man, these things are sensitive. What the? No, the brake's not on. Feet are off the brakes. Come on. What's going on? I guess it thought the brakes were still active. I don't know. And lovely taxi lights. Right in the middle of there where you want to go into the apron here. That's all good. I think this looks like a pretty good place to shut down. This looks like a place where a building would be, I guess. I don't know. Alright. Feet on the brakes. Back to 1000 RPM. Or approximately. There we go. Brakes are on there. So we'll shut everything off because there's no avionics master switch, which makes things a lot easier. Oops. one. That's what I needed. Off. Off. Oh yeah, I'll turn the volume up. There we go. Off. Let's see. We can turn the taxi lights off. And nav lights can come off. Alright, let's pull that mixture. And the keys, we go to off. Masters off. Alternator off. Strobes off. Beacon light off. And last check of the checklist. Securing ELT, verified silent. Well, that's just flight sim. Avionics are off. Mixtures fully lean. Mags are off. Master is off. Lights are off. Hobs. Look at that. 18.9 and this puppy. This puppy's a great little plane. Control locks we don't have, but we can put the wheels back. Yep. Chocks, tie downs, better covers, cabin doors. Excellent. So there you go, folks. This is the wonderful 152, and I love flying it. They're even better in real life. They're a struggle to get in and out of, but once you're in, you're fine. There's a hot air balloon over there. That's cool. But I love flying these things. And I hope you've gotten something out of this video, whether it be some basic VFR navigation techniques or something like that. I don't know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.